The Jade Pendant holds a secret. This secret is part of its legacy. The mysterious jewelry piece carries an untold story, passed down through generations. Its emerald green stone whispers of hidden truths and ancient wisdom. The pendant's legacy intertwines with history, waiting to be discovered. Mira discovers a mysterious jade pendant among her grandmother's belongings. This find leads her on a journey to uncover her family's hidden past. As Mira digs deeper, she faces difficult truths. She learns to bridge cultural gaps along the way. In the end, Mira finds her place, balancing between two different worlds. San Francisco's foggy morning air crept into Mira Chen's apartment. Mira sat by the window, sipping her coffee. She scrolled through emails on her phone, enjoying the quiet. Suddenly, an unexpected chime broke the silence. The doorbell sound startled Mira. It disrupted the calm routine of her Saturday morning.
Who could that be at this hour?
Mira set down her mug. She padded to the door in her silk robe. The robe brushed gently against her legs as she moved. Mira opened the door. There stood a delivery man, holding a weathered cardboard box.
Package for Mira Chen? Yes, that's me.
Mira signed for the package. Her brow furrowed as she noticed the return address. It was from her parents' home in New York. She carried the box to her living room. Settling comfortably on the floor, Mira prepared to open it.
What on earth?
Mira rifled through the contents. Her fingers brushed against something cool and smooth. She pulled out a small velvet pouch. Carefully, she emptied it into her palm. A jade pendant lay there, finely detailed. It hung from a delicate gold chain. The pendant gleamed in the morning light.
It's beautiful, but why would Mom send this?
Mira's phone buzzed with an incoming call. Her mother's name flashed on the screen. Mira hesitated before answering the call. She still clutched the pendant in her hand. The familiar object seemed to weigh heavily as she considered her response.
Hi, Mom.
Mira, did you receive a package?
Yes, just now. There's a jade pendant.
It belonged to your grandmother. I thought, well, it's time you had it.
Mira detected a hint of reluctance in her mother's voice. This stirred a familiar mix of emotions within her. She felt both curious and frustrated.
Mom, you've never talked about grandmother before? Why now?
It's complicated, Mira. Some things are better left in the past.
But don't you think I have a right to know about my own family?
Mira, please, just accept the pendant. I have to go now.
The phone line went dead. Mira stared at the pendant, her mind filled with questions. She stood up and walked to the window. The view overlooked the San Francisco skyline. The jade pendant felt cool against her skin as she gazed out.
I'm going to find out the truth, no matter what.
As the fog began to lift outside, Mira made a decision. She would uncover the secrets her family had kept hidden for so long. This meant facing aspects of her family history she had long ignored. Mira was determined to explore her neglected roots, even if it might be challenging. The San Francisco apartment is filled with tension. Mira Chen clutches her grandmother's jade pendant. She approaches her parents in the living room. The weight of unspoken history hangs heavy in the air.
Mom and Dad, I need to ask you something. This pendant belonged to Grandmother Meiling, didn't it? Can you tell me more about her?
Aiya, Mira, where did you find that old thing? It's nothing important, just a family trinket.
Lily's eyes dart nervously. She looks towards David. David shifts uncomfortably in his armchair.
Your grandmother. She was a complicated woman, Mira. It was a different time back then.
But that's just it. I don't know anything about that time. Or about her. Why haven't you ever told me about our family history?
What's there to tell? We came here for a better life. That's all that matters.
Frustration builds in Mira's voice. She presses on with determination.
It matters to me, Mom. I feel like there's a whole part of myself I don't understand. Don't you think I have a right to know?
A right? You talk about rights. You don't understand the privilege you have. You don't grasp the sacrifices we made. Our efforts have given you advantages you take for granted. Your demands ignore the hard-won progress achieved through our struggles.
The room crackles with sudden intensity. Lily's composure cracks.
We gave up everything for your current life. Now you want to uncover past secrets. For what reason? Is it just to explore your Chinese heritage? Our sacrifices were meant to give you opportunities, not to encourage you to dwell on the past. We question why you feel the need to revisit old memories and cultural roots that we left behind.
Play at being Chinese, is that what you think this is?
Myra's voice rises. It matches her mother's intensity.
I'm trying to understand who I am, who we are. Why is that so threatening to you?
Mira, please. Your mother didn't mean.
No, David, she needs to understand this. Some things are better left in the past. We came here to build a new life. We're not here to dwell on old sorrows.
The silence that follows is deafening. Mira looks at her mother's flushed face. Then she turns to her father's pained expression. She feels the distance between them growing. The tension in the room is palpable as Mira observes the emotional divide in her family widening before her eyes.
I can't believe this. You'd rather I just forget where we came from? Pretend it doesn't matter?
That's not what I...
Forget it. I'll find out on my own.
Mira storms out of the room. She leaves her parents in stunned silence. Later that night, Mira sits in the soft glow of her laptop screen. She begins her search with determination. Mira is resolved to uncover the truth her parents are trying to hide.
There has to be something here. Birth records, immigration papers, anything.
As the hours tick by, time seems to slow. Mira's eyes widen in surprise. She has made an unexpected discovery. It's on an ancestry website she's been exploring. The revelation catches her off guard, leaving her stunned and eager to learn more.
Wait, Hunan province? I never knew we were from there.
A faint glimmer of her family's past begins to take shape. This revelation leads Mira down an unexpected path. Her journey will challenge everything she thought she knew. Mira's understanding of herself and her heritage is put to the test. Mira carefully opened a weathered box in her grandmother's closet. The musty scent of aged paper filled her nostrils. Her fingers trembled slightly as she lifted out a bundle of letters. The delicate pages had yellowed with time.
What secrets are you hiding, Grandma Mei-Ling?
Mira's whisper was barely audible. She ran her fingers over the detailed Chinese symbols. The characters seemed to dance across the pages. The weight of history in her hands was palpable. A mix of excitement and nervousness coursed through her veins. Mira felt the significance of the moment as she touched the ancient text.
I can't believe I never knew about these. Mom and Dad never mentioned.
Her voice trailed off as she realized the importance of her discovery. Mira knew her Mandarin skills were not fluent enough. She couldn't decipher the complex script in front of her. With a determined nod, Mira reached for her phone.
Hello, Professor Zhang. This is Mira Chen calling. I was hoping you could help me with something. It's about some old family letters.
Mira arranged to meet with the translator. Her mind drifted to the possible secrets hidden within the delicate pages. She had no idea how important this find would be. It would start a process of uncovering a web of family secrets. These secrets spanned across many countries and went back generations. 2 days had passed. Mira sat across from Professor Zhang in his cluttered office. She watched him intently. His eyes scanned the first letter.
Fascinating, Miss Chen. These photographs appear to be from rural China in the 1930s. Your grandmother's handwriting is quite beautiful.
Can you tell me what they say?
Professor Zhang cleared his throat. He began to read aloud. His voice transported Mira. She found herself in a world she had only imagined before. The professor's words brought to life a realm that had existed solely in Mira's mind, making the impossible seem real and tangible.
Dearest sister, the cherry blossoms have begun to fall. With them, my hopes for a plentiful crop are fading. The drought continues to affect our village severely. Father speaks of hard choices ahead. I fear what this may mean for my future. I worry about all of our futures.
Mira leaned forward, her heart racing. She listened intently to each word the professor said. As the professor's voice faded into the background, Mira's imagination took over. In her mind, she saw vivid pictures unfolding. She envisioned her grandmother's life in a small Chinese village. This scene was starkly different from the San Francisco skyline visible outside the window. Mira's thoughts transported her far from the classroom to a distant time and place.
Professor, there's so much here. Could you help me translate more of these?
Of course, Miss Chen. I must warn you about something. Exploring family history can be revealing. It often uncovers truths we may not be ready for.
Mira nodded, her face showing a mix of determination and apprehension. She left the professor's office, clutching the precious letters. Mira felt the first stirrings of an obsession taking root. The mystery of her family's past beckoned to her. It promised answers to questions she hadn't even known to ask. That night, Mira studied the professor's initial translations. Her phone buzzed insistently. Jake's name flashed on the screen. It was a reminder of the life she was beginning to neglect. This neglect was due to her pursuit of her family's secrets.
Hey Jake, sorry I missed dinner. I got caught up in something.
Mira, is everything okay? You've been distant lately. Is this about work?
No, it's not simple. Actually, it's quite complicated. I discovered some old letters from my grandmother. These letters reveal there's more to my family's story. It's more than I ever knew before.
That sounds intense. Do you want to talk about it?
Mira hesitated. She realized she wasn't ready to share this part of herself yet. The weight of her discovery felt too personal. It was too raw to expose to anyone else.
Not right now, Jake. I need to figure some things out first. I promise I'll explain soon.
Mira ended the call and turned back to the letters on her desk. In the soft glow of her desk lamp, she could almost see a ghost. It was her grandmother Mei Ling, whispering secrets from the past. With a deep breath, Mira immersed herself in 1930s China once more. She was unaware of how this journey would transform her life. It would challenge everything she thought she knew about herself and her family. The San Francisco skyline shone brightly in the evening light. Mira sat hunched over her laptop in her apartment. She was surrounded by a sea of papers and old photographs. Her normally tidy space had become a chaotic archive of family history. The sound of a key turning in the lock went almost unnoticed. Mira squinted at a faded document, lost in her work. Despite the interruption, she remained focused on uncovering her family's past.
Hey babe, I'm home. Whoa, what happened in here?
Oh, hi Jake. I didn't hear you come in. I've just been working on some things.
Jake navigated through the mess. He looked worried. He picked up a photo from the coffee table. Jake studied the photo intently.
Is this your grandmother? The one with the jade pendant?
Yeah, that's Mei Ling. I've been trying to reconstruct her story. There's so much I never knew, Jake. It's like I'm discovering a whole new part of myself.
Jake set the photo down. His expression was a mix of emotions. Worry and frustration were evident on his face.
Mira, we were supposed to have dinner with my parents tonight. Don't tell me you forgot.
Oh God, was that tonight? I'm so sorry, I completely lost track of time.
Mira stood up suddenly. She became aware of her messy appearance. She ran a hand through her tangled hair. A look of guilt spread across her face.
This is the third time you've canceled on them. They're starting to think you don't want to meet.
That's not true. I do want to meet them. It's just that this is important to me. Jake, can't you understand that?
I'm trying to understand, Mira. It feels like you're becoming consumed by this obsession. Your boss called me today with concerns. She asked if everything was okay with you. Your boss mentioned you've been distracted at work lately.
Myra's face paled. She hadn't realized her distraction was obvious. The change had become noticeable at the office. Her colleagues must have picked up on her absent-mindedness, causing Mira to feel a sudden wave of self-consciousness.
She called you? I didn't think it was that bad.
What's really going on here, Mira? Is this about more than just your family history?
Mira sank back onto the couch. Her fingers were gently moving over something. It was the outline of Mei Ling's face in a photograph.
I don't know how to explain it, Jake. It's like, there's been this hole inside me my whole life. I'm finally starting to fill it. But the more I learn, the more questions I have.
And what about us? Where do I fit into all of this?
Of course you fit in. You're a huge part of my life.
Am I? Because lately it feels like I'm competing with ghosts.
A tense silence fell between them. Jake's words hung in the air. These words forced Mira to confront something uncomfortable. She had to face the growing distance between them. The atmosphere was heavy with unspoken tension.
I'm sorry, Jake. I never meant to push you away. It's just that I'm learning more about my family's past. As I learn, I'm realizing how much of myself I've been denying. There are parts of me and my culture that I've kept hidden. I've even hidden these parts from you.
Hidden? Mira, I've always encouraged you to embrace your heritage.
Have you truly understood? Or have you only accepted the easy parts? Are you fitting her into your idea of a Chinese-American girlfriend? These questions challenge your perception and understanding of your partner's identity.
Jake recoiled as if he'd been slapped. Myra's words had struck a nerve. This forced both of them to confront uncomfortable truths. The sudden impact of their exchange left them grappling with difficult realizations.
That's not fair, Mira. I've never tried to change you.
Maybe it wasn't intentional. Jake, do you realize something? This is the first time we've really talked about my Chinese-American identity. We're discussing what it means for me to be Chinese-American. It's about the complexity of belonging to two worlds.
A heavy silence fell between them. Jake looked lost in the moment. He struggled to find the right words.
You know, I guess I never realized how much this meant to you. I thought I was being supportive. My intention was to not make a big deal out of it. Now I understand that my approach might have come across differently than I intended.
I know you meant well. But this is a big deal, Jake. It's who I am.
Mira stood up. There was a sudden determination in her eyes.
I need to go to China.
What? Mira, you can't just drop everything and leave.
I have to go, Jake. There are answers I need to find. I won't find them here. I need to see where my family came from. I want to walk the streets they walked.
What about your job? What about us?
I don't know, but I do know that if I don't do this, I'll regret it for the rest of my life.
Mira began to hastily pack a bag. The gravity of her decision sank in. She was risking everything, her career and her relationship. It was all for a chance to uncover the truth about her past. Deep down, she knew it was a risk she had to take. The soft glow of Myra's laptop lit up her face. She hunched over her desk, surrounded by stacks of documents. Old photographs were scattered around her. It was well past midnight. Her flight to China was just hours away.
Come on, there has to be something here.
Myra's fingers flew across the keyboard. Her eyes scanned through digitized records of passenger manifests. These were from 1960s Hong Kong. Suddenly, she froze. Her breath caught in her throat.
Wait, what? That can't be right.
She leaned in closer, squinting at the screen. There, clearly displayed, was a manifest. The document listed her father's name. However, the departure date caught her attention. It was years earlier than she'd been told. Mira glanced at her phone. Jake's name appeared on the screen. She hesitated before answering.
Hey, Jake. Sorry, I know it's late.
Mira, are you still up? You have a flight in a few hours.
I know. But Jake, I found something. About my dad. The dates don't add up.
What do you mean?
According to this record, he left Hong Kong. This happened years before he was said to have met my mom. The timing doesn't make sense.
There was a pause. It occurred on the other end of the line. This brief silence happened during the phone conversation, specifically on the caller's side.
Mira, are you sure about this? Do you really want to continue investigating it? What if you discover something unexpected? Are you prepared for what you might find?
I have to know, Jake. I can't explain it, but I feel like everything depends on this.
As Mira spoke, the scene began to change. The view slowly faded away. A new setting emerged before their eyes. It was a bustling street in 1960s Hong Kong. A young woman named Lily Chen hurried through the crowd. She clutched a small package to her chest. Nervously, she glanced over her shoulder. Then, she ducked into a small tea shop.
David, are you here?
A young man emerged from the back room. His face showed a mixture of emotions. Relief and worry were both visible in his expression.
Lily, I was afraid you wouldn't come. Did anyone follow you?
No, I don't think so. But David, we can't keep meeting like this. My family.
I know, but we don't have a choice. The plan is set. We leave next week.
Lily's eyes widened. She felt a mix of surprise and fear.
Next week? But that's so soon. How will we?
Trust me, Lily. America is our only chance, a new life away from all this.
David gently held Lily's hands. His eyes were pleading as he looked at her.
We can be together there, really together, no more hiding.
The scene transitioned to present-day San Francisco. Mira was sitting on her bed. She stared at a packed suitcase.
What aren't you telling me, Dad?
Mira stood with determination and grabbed her luggage. She walked out of her apartment, pausing briefly. Mira touched the jade pendant around her neck. This pendant was her grandmother's legacy. Now, it would guide her to the truth. Hours later, Mira found herself boarding a plane. Her heart was racing with anticipation and fear. She settled into her seat and gazed out the window. The skyline of San Francisco stretched before her.
No turning back now. Whatever the cost, I'm going to uncover the truth.
As the plane taxied down the runway, Mira closed her eyes. She was preparing herself mentally for the journey ahead. This trip wasn't just across the ocean. It was also a journey into the depths of her family's past. Before we continue, let's take a moment to reflect. What are your thoughts on this story? What would you like to hear next? Please share your ideas in the comments. Mira stepped out of the airport into Beijing's bustling streets. A loud mix of Mandarin voices and honking horns surrounded her. The sounds overwhelmed her senses completely. Despite her Chinese heritage, Mira felt like a foreigner in this place. She looked around at the vast, busy city. This enormous metropolis was supposed to be part of her ancestral home. Yet, it felt strangely unfamiliar to her.
God, I feel so out of place here. I can barely understand what anyone's saying.
Mira clutched her grandmother's jade pendant. It was her comfort in these unfamiliar surroundings. She hailed a taxi in the bustling street. As she approached, Mira struggled to recall a Mandarin phrase. She had practiced this phrase many times before. Despite her preparation, the words felt foreign on her tongue.
请带我过王府井?
The taxi driver looked at her with a mixture of amusement and impatience. He clearly detected her American accent. The driver nodded and gestured for her to get in. The taxi moved through the traffic. Mira's mind raced with thoughts. She thought about her grandmother, Mei Ling. In this vast city, Mira hoped to uncover secrets. These secrets were somehow connected to her grandmother's past.
I hope this wasn't a mistake. What if I can't find anything? What if I'm just chasing ghosts?
The taxi pulled up to a bustling street. Shops and restaurants lined the area. Mira paid the driver and stepped out. She immediately felt lost in the crowd of people. Suddenly, a young woman approached her. The woman greeted Mira with a friendly smile.
你好. Are you looking for a guide? I can help you navigate the city.
Oh, thank goodness you speak English. Yes, I could use some help. I'm looking for information about my grandmother. She lived here in the 1940s.
Interesting. My name is Lin. I'd be happy to assist you. What's your grandmother's name?
Mei Ling Chen. I don't know much about her life here, but I have this pendant that belonged to her.
Mira showed Lin the jade pendant. Lin's eyes widened in recognition.
This design is quite unique. I've seen something similar before. It was in an old photograph at the Beijing Cultural Heritage Museum. We should start our investigation there.
Really? Wow. I didn't expect to find a lead so quickly.
Mira and her companions were on their way to the museum. Mira felt excited, but her enthusiasm was dampened. She faced a language barrier at every turn. Street signs and conversations were impossible to understand. Even menu items were unclear to her. Despite these challenges, Mira pressed on, determined to enjoy her visit.
Lin, how do you say I'm looking for information about my family in Mandarin?
我正在寻找关于我家人的信息。
我正在寻找关于我家人的信息。
Close. 信息. You'll get it with practice.
At the museum, Lin talked quickly with the curator. Meanwhile, Mira stood by, feeling helpless and out of place. Time seemed to drag on endlessly. Finally, Lin turned to Mira with an excited expression.
Mira, they have a photograph that matches the design on your pendant. But there's more to this discovery. The photograph is part of an exhibit. This exhibit showcases women who worked as code-breaking experts during World War II.
Code breakers? But my grandmother never mentioned anything about that. Are you sure?
The curator led them to a dimly lit room. Mira's heart raced with anticipation. On the wall hung a black and white photograph. It showed a group of young women. In the center was a familiar face. A woman wore a distinctive jade pendant. Mira recognized her grandmother, Mei Ling. She had only seen her in old family albums before.
Oh my God! That's her! But a code breaker? How is that possible?
Mira stared at the photograph. Her mind was reeling from what she saw. The grandmother she thought she knew suddenly became a stranger to her. This realization changed everything. Beijing was no longer just a foreign city to Mira. It transformed into a rich source of hidden truths. These truths were about her family's past, waiting to be discovered. The air is heavy with the scent of earth and incense. Mira steps off the old, shaky bus into her family's ancestral village. Dust swirls around her feet as she arrives. The weight of history seems to press down on her shoulders. She clutches her grandmother's jade pendant tightly. It's her connection to a past she's only beginning to understand.
This is it. After all this time, I'm finally here. Grandma Mei Ling, what secrets are you hiding? What mysteries does this place hold?
Mira's eyes scan the weathered buildings in the village. Some structures are barely standing, while others have been renovated. The renovations bring an unexpected touch of modernity to the scene. An elderly woman approaches Mira. Her wrinkled face is like a map, telling the village's history.
Are you lost, young lady? We don't get many visitors here.
No, I'm not lost. At least, I don't think so. I'm looking for the Chen family home. My grandmother, Mei Ling Chen, used to live here. That was a long time ago.
Mei Ling Chen? Ah, I remember her. She was such a spirited girl. Mei Ling always dreamed of more than our village could offer. Come, I'll show you the old house.
As they walk, the scene begins to change. It transforms magically before their eyes. Suddenly, Mira finds herself transported back to the 1930s. The village comes alive with the bustle of a different time. A young woman hurries down the narrow street. She looks remarkably similar to Mira herself.
I won't be late again. Father will be furious if I miss another lesson on being a proper wife.
Young Mei Ling holds a book close to her chest. The book is hidden beneath her simple dress. Her eyes shine with determination. There's also a look of rebellion in her gaze. This young girl appears ready to face a challenge, with literature as her secret weapon.
But I won't give up. I'll find a way to learn, to be more than just someone's wife.
The scene shifts back to the present. Mira finds herself standing before a dilapidated house. Its walls are crumbling, yet the house still holds echoes of the past. The old structure seems to bridge time, connecting Mira's current reality with memories long gone.
This is where she lived? It's so small.
Though small in size, your grandmother had big dreams. She was different from others in her community. Always reading and questioning, she stood out. The elders didn't approve of her behavior. Despite their disapproval, she never stopped pursuing knowledge and asking questions.
She never stopped. Just like me, I always felt out of place. I was torn between two worlds. Maybe that's not so different from what she felt here.
Mira runs her hand along the old doorframe. She feels a deep connection to her grandmother. This connection goes beyond time and culture. Mira can almost hear Mei Ling's voice. It softly whispers words of encouragement to her.
Don't let them clip your wings, my dear. Fly as far as your dreams will take you.
I won't, Grandma, I promise.
The sun begins to set over the village. Long shadows stretch across the landscape. Mira realizes her journey to understand her past is just starting. The weight of expectations feels lighter now. This includes both her own expectations and those of her family. Mira feels balanced by the strength she's inherited from Mei Ling.
Thank you for showing me this. I think I understand more clearly now. I've gained insight about my grandmother. I've also learned more about myself.
You're welcome, child. Remember, the strongest trees have the deepest roots. Don't be afraid to dig deep into your roots. This journey of self-discovery can make you stronger. Just like those mighty trees, you too can grow and thrive when you understand where you come from.
Mira nods with gratitude as she turns to leave. Her steps are now more purposeful than when she arrived. The jade pendant seems to pulse with warmth against her skin. It serves as a reminder of a strong connection. This connection links the past and present. It also bridges Mei Ling's dreams with Mira's own aspirations. The bustling streets of Hong Kong enveloped Mira. She navigated through the city with a racing mind. Questions about her family's past filled her thoughts. Towering skyscrapers seemed to hold secrets. Their reflective surfaces mirrored the history she sought to uncover. As Mira walked, the city's energy matched her inner curiosity. Each building and street corner held the promise of answers. Her journey through Hong Kong was both physical and emotional, as she searched for clues to her family's story.
I can't believe I'm actually here. I'm walking the same streets my parents did decades ago. What am I going to find?
Mira held an old photograph in her hand. The picture showed her parents as young adults. They were standing in front of a small apartment building. Mira glanced up, taking in her surroundings. She realized she was now standing in the very same spot as her parents in the photo.
This is it. This is where their Hong Kong story began.
Mira approached the building. An elderly woman came out of it. The woman eyed Mira with curiosity.
You look familiar, child. Are you related to the Chen family that used to live here?
Yes, I am. My parents lived here in the 1960s. Did you know them?
Ah, David and Lily. They were such a handsome couple. However, there was always tension in the air around them. Your father carried a heavy burden.
Mira's heart raced. This was an unexpected connection. It linked her to her past. The sudden revelation stirred deep emotions within her. Memories she thought long forgotten came flooding back.
A burden? What do you mean? What happened here?
It's not my place to say, child. But if you're looking for answers, I have a suggestion. You might want to visit the old tea house on Leighton Road. Your father spent many nights there. He was often engaged in serious talks with someone. I never saw this man clearly myself,
The scene shifts. We are transported back to 1960s Hong Kong. A younger David Chen sits in a dimly lit tea house. His face shows deep concern. The atmosphere is tense and mysterious.
I can't do this anymore. The lies, the secrets, it's tearing me apart.
You made a choice, David. We all did. To protect our families, to survive.
Back in the present, Mira stands outside the former tea house. The building is now a trendy cafe. She takes a deep breath. Mira steps inside, feeling the weight of history.
Dad, what were you hiding all these years?
Mira examined old records and news articles in the city archives. As she searched, a pattern began to emerge. Her father's name appeared in connection with several business dealings. These dealings seemed to have ended badly. Mira's discovery raised questions about her father's past activities.
This can't be right. Dad would never be involved in anything illegal.
The evidence against David was mounting. Photographs revealed him with men of questionable character. Documents suggested suspicious financial activities. As a result, Mira's perception of her father began to crumble.
Oh my God. Dad, what did you do?
Night fell as Mira found herself in a small, forgotten cemetery. The graveyard was located on the outskirts of the city. She traced her fingers over a weathered headstone. Her heart pounded as she read the inscription.
Chen Meihua, beloved daughter. Born 1965, died 1967. How is this possible?
The revelation hit Mira like a physical blow. She had a sister she never knew existed. This sibling had lived and died before Mira was even born.
Mom, Dad, why did you never tell me? Who was she? What happened?
Mira sank to her knees in front of the grave. The weight of revealed secrets and changed views overwhelmed her. In the distance, the Hong Kong skyline glittered brightly. It stood unmoved by the personal story unfolding beneath it. Mira's private world crumbled in the shadows of the indifferent city.
I will find out the truth. For you, Meihua, and for all of us.
Mira's hands were trembling. She took out her phone. She was about to call her parents. Mira knew this conversation would change everything. The weight of the moment hung heavy in the air as she prepared to make the life-altering call. Hong Kong's bustling streets fade into the background. Mira sits in a quiet cafe, her hands trembling. She unfolds a yellowed letter carefully. The words on the page transport her back in time. She's taken to 1980s New York, where her parents' American dream began. The old letter connects Mira to her family's hopeful past, bridging two vibrant cities across decades.
I can't believe what I'm reading. Mom and Dad never told me about any of this.
The letter reveals a harsh reality of her parents' early days in America. Mira's eyes widen as she reads about their struggles. They lived in a tiny apartment shared with 3 other families. Her parents worked long hours at multiple jobs. They also lived with a constant fear of deportation. These difficult circumstances shaped her parents' early experiences as immigrants in their new country.
How did they survive like this? And why did they hide it from me all these years?
The scene shifts to a cramped apartment in 1980s New York. A younger Lily and David Chan huddle around a small table. Their faces show deep tiredness.
David, I don't know how much longer I can do this. The factory work is killing me. I barely see you anymore.
Woji dao hen nan li li dan wo men bai shu jian kai jie shi wei la wo men de wei lai yi shi wei la wo men wei lai de hai zi. I know it's hard, Lily, but we must persevere. This is for our future. It's also for our future child.
Back in the present, Mira feels a lump in her throat. The weight of her parents' sacrifices suddenly hits her. She feels overwhelmed by their actions.
In the past, I often complained about my parents' strictness. I thought they didn't understand me or my needs. Now I realize I was ignorant of their perspective. I had no idea about the challenges and experiences they faced. This new understanding has changed my view completely.
Mira continues reading and uncovers more painful truths. Her father had to give up his dreams of becoming an engineer. Instead, he settled for a job as a dishwasher. Her mother worked night shifts at a garment factory. The work left her mother's hands rough and injured.
They gave up everything, their dreams, their comfort, their dignity. And for what? For me?
The realization hits Mira hard. She has a successful career and a comfortable life in San Francisco. All of it is built on the foundation of her parents' hardships. Their compromises have shaped her current success. Mira now understands the true cost of her achievements. Mira is deep in thought. Suddenly, Her contemplation is interrupted. An urgent text from Jake catches her attention.
Mira, there's a crisis at work. The Chin account is falling apart. We need you back ASAP.
God, not now. How can I think about work when my whole world is turning upside down?
Mira is torn between her professional responsibilities. She has a new insight into her family's struggles. Mira feels the weight of two worlds. These conflicting forces are causing inner turmoil. She's experiencing a deep emotional divide between her work life and her family obligations. This internal struggle is pulling Mira in opposite directions, creating significant stress and uncertainty in her life.
What do? I can't just ignore the situation. But I also can't let down my team. Is this how Mom and Dad felt? Were they constantly torn between duty and personal desires?
Mira grapples with her decision in the cafe. The environment around her seems to fade away. Echoes of her parents' sacrifices linger in her thoughts. The urgency of her present-day commitments weighs heavily. These conflicting ideas swirl in her mind. She finds herself at a life-defining crossroads. This decision will shape more than just her career. It will affect her understanding of herself and her family's legacy. The San Francisco skyline appeared on the horizon. Mira's plane was descending towards the city. She spotted the familiar sight of the Golden Gate Bridge. Once, it had been a symbol of her American dream. Now, it stirred up mixed feelings in her. Mira was coming back to a life that seemed unfamiliar now. The city she once knew felt different, no longer matching her expectations. Mira stepped into her apartment. The silence was deafening. Everything was exactly as she had left it. Yet nothing felt the same. Her phone buzzed constantly with missed calls and messages. Most of these were from her boss and Jake.
God, what a mess. I don't even know where to start.
Mira's fingers hovered over her boss's number. She hesitated, feeling uneasy about possible outcomes. Instead, she dialed Jake's number. Mira prepared herself for a difficult conversation ahead.
Mira, finally, where have you been? I've been worried sick.
Jake, I'm sorry. I know I should have called sooner. Things got complicated in China.
Complicated? Mira, you disappeared for weeks. Your boss has been calling me. Your parents were frantic. What happened?
Mira could hear the mixture of emotions in Jake's voice. His tone carried both relief and frustration. She closed her eyes, deep in thought. Mira realized a gulf had grown between them. This distance had developed during her absence.
It's hard to explain. I found out things about my family and myself. Jake, I'm not the same person I was before.
What does that even mean? Look, can we meet? I think we need to talk face to face.
Yeah, we should. Can you come over?
An hour later, Jake arrived at Mira's apartment. The tension between them was palpable. They sat across from each other. The coffee table stood as a symbolic divide between them.
So, are you going to tell me what's going on? You look different.
I feel different, Jake. I've discovered things about my family's past. These are things I never knew before. This knowledge has changed everything for me.
Changed what, exactly? Your job? Us?
Mira could see the hurt and confusion in Jake's eyes. She realized something important about her recent actions. In her quest to understand her past, Mira had made a mistake. She had unintentionally distanced herself from her present life. This realization hit her hard as she faced Jake's emotional response.
I'm uncertain. I'm still trying to process it all. I can't just go back to how things were before. There's a part of me that I now recognize exists. I can't pretend it's not there anymore.
And where does that leave us, Mira? Where do I fit into this new version of you?
The question hung in the air. It was heavy with implication. Before Mira could answer, her phone rang. It was her mother calling.
I have to take this. It's my mom.
Jake nodded, his expression a mix of emotions. Resignation and disappointment were visible on his face. Mira answered the call with trepidation. Her heart was racing as she picked up.
Mira, are you back home?
Yes, Mom. I just got back.
I think we need to talk. About everything.
Mira's breath caught in her throat. A long time had passed. Now, her mother was finally ready to open up. The moment Mira had been waiting for had arrived, filled with anticipation and a mix of emotions.
Okay, Mom, I'm listening.
Mira began the long-awaited conversation with her mother. She was acutely aware of Jake's silent presence nearby. His presence reminded her of the choices and challenges ahead. Mira's world had indeed been shattered. Yet, in the fragments, she saw new possibilities emerging. A more authentic life was taking shape for her. Before we continue, let's take a moment to reflect. What are your thoughts about this story? What would you like to hear next? Please share your thoughts in the comments. The late afternoon sun made long shadows. These shadows stretched across Myra's childhood home in San Francisco. Myra stood on the doorstep, hesitating. Her hand hovered near the doorbell. Her heart pounded with a mix of anticipation and dread.
This is it. No turning back now.
The door opened. Lily Chen's face appeared. Her features showed a mix of concern and wariness.
Myra, you're here. Come in, your father is waiting in the living room.
Myra followed her mother inside. The familiar scent of jasmine tea and incense surrounded them. As they entered the living room, they saw David Chen. He rose from his armchair upon their arrival. His face revealed no emotion, his expression unreadable.
Myra, it's good to see you. We have a lot to talk about.
Yes, we do. I've learned new information. You've both kept secrets from me for years. I need to understand why. This revelation has left me with questions about your motives and the reasons for withholding such important information from me for so long.
A tense silence fell over the room. Lily and David exchanged a look. Years of unspoken secrets passed between them.
Please, sit down. This won't be easy for any of us.
Myra took a seat on the couch. She noticed her grandmother's jade pendant on the coffee table. Her mother was in the room too. The mother's hands trembled slightly as she poured tea. The pendant caught Myra's eye, resting quietly amid the scene. Meanwhile, her mother carefully managed the delicate task of serving the hot beverage, despite her unsteady hands.
I want to know everything. I'm curious about Grandmother Mei Ling. I want to learn about our family's journey to this place. No more half-truths or silence, please. Tell me the complete story of our heritage and how we came to be here.
Myra, you have to understand. We thought we were protecting you.
Protecting me? By denying me my own history?
David's shoulders sagged. The weight of years of secrecy was visible. It was clearly weighing on him. His body language revealed the burden he had been carrying for so long.
Your grandmother made difficult choices during the war. These choices haunted her for years. They shaped our family's destiny in profound ways. We wanted to protect you from this heavy burden.
Wo men yi wei jie yang zuo shi dui de, wo men kuola. We thought we were doing the right thing. We were wrong.
Lily suddenly switched to speaking Mandarin. This change caught Myra completely off guard. Their interaction highlighted a deep cultural divide. This divide had existed between them for a long time.
Mom, please, in English. I need to understand everything.
Lily nodded, her eyes filled with tears. She began to unravel their complex family history. Tales of sacrifice and forbidden love emerged. Painful choices from the past came to light. Long-buried truths filled the room. As Lily spoke, the intricate details of their family's story became clear. Each revelation added depth to their shared history. The emotional weight of these discoveries was palpable in the air.
Your grandmother fell in love with an American soldier during the war. However, her family had already arranged a marriage for her. The choices she made at that time had far-reaching consequences. These decisions influenced the family for years to come.
Is that why you've always been so resistant to my relationship with Jake?
Partly. We feared history repeating itself. We also feared losing you. This fear stemmed from a world we didn't fully understand. Our concerns were twofold. We worried about past events recurring and about you venturing into unfamiliar territory that was beyond our comprehension.
As the conversation continued, Myra felt changes happening. Layers of misunderstanding and cultural clashes began to peel away. The pain of the past was still present. However, it now mingled with a growing sense of understanding. This shift brought a new perspective to their interaction.
I've spent a long time feeling torn between two worlds. Why didn't you help me understand my heritage? I wish I knew more about both parts of my background. This inner conflict has left me questioning my identity and longing for a deeper connection to my roots.
Wo men hai pa shi ku ni. We were afraid of losing you.
This time, Myra understood her mother's words. The language barrier between them was starting to break down. Their communication was improving, bridging the gap that had separated them.
You never lost me, but I almost lost myself, trying to be what I thought you wanted.
As the evening wore on, tears were shed. Apologies were offered sincerely. A fragile connection of mutual comprehension began to form. The jade pendant rested on the table. It seemed to glow in the fading light. The pendant symbolized the heritage Myra was finally embracing. This emotional moment marked a turning point. Myra's understanding of her roots deepened. The jade's soft gleam reflected the warmth of reconciliation. In the quieting room, a new chapter of acceptance unfolded.
Mira, we can't change the past, but perhaps we can build a better future, together.
I'd like that. It won't be easy, but I want to try.
Mira stood to lead. She hesitated for a moment. Then, she embraced her parents. It was a small gesture. Yet, it carried great significance. The embrace represented generations of struggle and hope.
Thank you for telling me the truth. It's a start.
Mira left her childhood home that night. Her heart felt both heavier and lighter. The path ahead was uncertain. For the first time, she felt truly grounded. Mira embraced both halves of her identity. This new chapter brought mixed emotions, but also a sense of wholeness she had never experienced before. Mira sat with her legs folded on the floor of her San Francisco apartment. She was surrounded by old letters and photographs. A jade pendant hung heavy around her neck. Mira carefully studied her grandmother Mei Ling's writings. Her fingers traced the delicate Chinese characters.
I can't believe how much I never knew. How could Mom and Dad keep all this from me?
Mira saw a faded photograph. It showed a young woman in traditional Chinese dress. She stood beside a man in military uniform. Their hands were intertwined. However, their expressions were tinged with sadness. The image captured a moment of connection, yet revealed an underlying melancholy.
Grandmother, what did you go through?
Mira became absorbed in the letters. As she read, the room around her seemed to disappear. She found herself transported to another place and time. It was a small village in rural China. The year was 1940.
My dearest Lingang, I know our love is forbidden, yet my heart cannot deny what it feels. The war continues to rage on. I fear for your safety every day.
Myra's breath caught in her throat as she read her grandmother's words. The pain and longing in Mei Ling's voice echoed across the decades. These emotions stirred something deep within Myra's own heart.
She risked everything for love, in a time when choices were so limited for women.
Myra's phone suddenly buzzed. The sound startled her out of her daydream. She noticed a new text message. It was from Jake.
Hey, haven't heard from you in a while. Everything okay?
Mira stared at the message. A wave of guilt washed over her. She had been consumed by her family's history. As a result, she had been neglecting her current relationships. This realization made her pause and reflect on her recent behavior.
I'm sorry, Jake. I've recently discovered some things about my family. It's complicated. Can we meet for coffee tomorrow?
Mira sent a text message. As she did, she realized something important. Her grandmother's story was giving her courage. This courage would help her face her own challenges. Mira then picked up another letter. This letter was about Mei Ling's difficult decision. Mei Ling had chosen to leave her village. She also left her first love behind.
I must go. It's for the sake of our family's future. But know this, I carry you in my heart always. You are my brave soldier.
Tears welled up in Myra's eyes. She recognized the sacrifice her grandmother had made. It was a choice that had changed their family's history forever. This decision had left a lasting impact on generations to come.
You were so strong, Grandmother. How can I honor your courage?
In that moment, Mira felt a shift within herself. The weight of her two-part identity had always felt like a burden. Now, it seemed like a gift. It was a bridge between two worlds. This was just as Mei Ling had been before her.
I don't have to choose. I can be both. I am both.
With newfound resolve, Mira stood up. She walked to the mirror. Mira touched the jade pendant. In her reflection, she saw echoes of Mei Ling's strength. She also recognized her own potential.
It's time to stop running from who I am. Time to embrace all parts of me.
The sun began to set, filling the room with warm light. Mira felt a sense of peace come over her. She knew the journey ahead would not be easy. Yet, for the first time, she felt ready to face the challenges. Mira drew strength from her grandmother's courage. She also felt the resolve of all the women in her family. These women had come before her, paving the way. Their legacy gave Mira the determination she needed. San Francisco glowed in the late afternoon sun. Mira Chen stood outside Jake's apartment building. Her heart was racing with anticipation. She took a deep breath to calm herself. Mira was preparing for the conversation ahead.
You can do this, Mira. It's time to build bridges, not walls.
She pressed the buzzer. Moments later, Jake responded. His voice came through the intercom.
Mira, is that you?
Yeah, it's me. Can we talk?
There was a pause. The door buzzed open. Mira made her way up to Jake's apartment. Each step felt heavier than the last.
Hey, I wasn't expecting you.
Jake's voice was guarded. His posture was tense. He stood in the doorway. These details painted a picture of Jake's cautious and uneasy demeanor as he positioned himself at the entrance.
I know, and I'm sorry for visiting unexpectedly. I really need to talk to you. We should discuss us and our future.
Okay, come in.
Jake stepped aside, allowing Mira to enter. The familiar scent of his apartment greeted them. It was a mix of coffee and old books. This aroma brought a wave of nostalgia and anxiety.
Jake, I've been doing a lot of thinking about my heritage, my family's history, and us.
I've noticed you've been pretty distant lately.
I know, and I'm sorry. I've been struggling with my identity. It's been hard to balance being Chinese and American, but now I realize something important. I don't have to choose between them. I can embrace both parts of who I am.
Jake's expression softened slightly. A mix of curiosity and concern appeared. These emotions were visible on his face.
What does that mean for us?
I want to share my culture with you. This includes all of it, the good and the complicated. I want to learn more about your family, too. I believe we can build something beautiful together. We have the opportunity to bridge our worlds.
Jake's shoulders relaxed. A small smile appeared on his lips, showing his change in mood.
I'd like that. I want to understand your world better, Mira. I just didn't know how to ask.
I didn't know how to share before. But now I'm ready. We might face some challenges. There are cultural expectations to navigate. These social customs will require our consideration as we move forward.
We'll face them together, one step at a time.
Mira felt a weight lift from her chest. She reached out to Jake. Mira took Jake's hand in hers. The sense of relief washed over her as their fingers intertwined, creating a moment of connection and comfort between them.
Thank you for being patient, for being here.
The next morning, Mira strode into her office with renewed purpose. Her conversation with Jake had sparked an idea. This idea merged her new appreciation for her heritage with her professional skills.
Mira, do you have that proposal ready for the new campaign? Actually, I have something even better. It's a brand new idea. I think this concept will appeal to a wider range of people. We believe it has the potential to engage more effectively with our target audience.
Mira's boss lifted one eyebrow. He appeared intrigued by the situation.
It's a campaign that celebrates cultural fusion. We showcase how different traditions blend in modern America. This blending creates something unique and beautiful.
Mira presented her idea with confidence. As she spoke, she felt a new sense of pride. This authenticity was something she had never experienced before at work. She was no longer hiding parts of herself. Instead, Mira was expressing her true self professionally. Her whole identity was now part of her work life.
This is unexpected, but I like it. It's fresh, relevant. Let's develop this further.
Thank you. I believe this campaign can connect with people. It speaks to individuals like me. We are navigating multiple cultural backgrounds. This approach resonates with those of us balancing diverse heritages in our lives.
Mira left her boss's office feeling accomplished. She had taken the first steps to integrate her heritage. This applied to both her personal and professional life. The path ahead was still uncertain. For the first time in a long while, Mira felt excited. She was truly looking forward to the future.
One bridge at a time, Mira. You're on the right path.
In the soft glow of a San Francisco evening, Mira Chen stood before her laptop. Her fingers hovered over the keys, ready to begin. The responsibility of her ancestry weighed heavily on her shoulders. With determination, Mira prepared to craft the story of her family's rich history.
This is it. Time to bring all these stories to life.
Mira took a deep breath and began to type. Her words flowed like a river of memories. As she wrote, she felt a new sense of purpose. This feeling was unlike anything she had known before. Days turned into weeks as Mira worked on the project. She dedicated herself to the task with unwavering focus. Mira reached out to her relatives far and wide. She organized a family gathering to bring everyone together. The event would unite generations from across continents. This ambitious reunion was Mira's way of connecting her extended family.
Mom, Dad, I want to host a family reunion. It's time we all came together to share our stories.
Aya, Mira, why do you want to dig up old tales? Some things are better left in the past.
Now Lily, maybe it's time. Mira has a right to know her roots.
Mira observed the conflict in her mother's eyes. There was a struggle between hiding and sharing information. Despite this, Mira pressed on with determination. She aimed to bridge the long-standing gaps between them. Her goal was to overcome the division that had separated them for so long.
Please, Mom, this isn't just for me. It's for all of us. We need to understand where we came from. We need to understand who we are.
All right, Mira, we'll do it. But some stories, they may not be easy to hear.
The day of the gathering arrived. Myra's small apartment buzzed with excitement. Family members came from near and far to join. The air was filled with the aroma of homemade dumplings. The sound of various dialects echoed throughout the space. The atmosphere was lively and warm, as relatives reunited in Myra's cozy home.
Mira, child, you've done a wonderful thing, bringing us all together like this.
Thank you, Auntie. I'm just glad everyone could make it.
The family settled in the living room. Mira stood before her gathered family. Her heart was pounding with anticipation.
I've called this family meeting today. Our family has a rich history. This history deserves to be remembered and cherished. I'd like each of you to share a story. Share a memory that has shaped who we are as a family.
One by one, family members began to speak. Tales of hardship and triumph filled the room. Stories of love, loss, and sacrifice were shared. The narratives were filled with resilience. Mira listened intently to each story. She recorded every precious fragment of their shared past.
I remember the day we left Hong Kong. Your mother and I had very little. We only had a suitcase with us. But we carried dreams of a better life. Those dreams were for our children's future.
It wasn't easy, Mira. We wanted to protect you from our struggles. We faced many challenges. Perhaps we should have shared more with you.
Mira watched her parents' faces relax. Years of unsaid thoughts were finally being expressed. She felt a warmth spreading through her chest. It was a sense of connection she had long yearned for. This moment brought together unspoken feelings and newfound understanding.
Thank you for sharing that. I know it's not easy, but it helps me understand so much.
As the evening progressed, emotions ran high. Laughter mixed with tears in the gathering. Old grievances were brought up and forgiven. Storytelling became a healing experience. It soothed wounds that had lingered for generations.
Mira, remember when we were kids, and you used to say you felt caught between two worlds?
I do. I spent a long time trying to choose between options. But now I see things differently. It's not about choosing one or the other. It's about embracing both.
In that moment, Mira felt surrounded by a tapestry of lives. These lives had led to her own existence. She experienced a profound shift in her perspective. Mira no longer felt torn between her American present and Chinese heritage. Instead, she saw herself as a bridge. She connected past and future, east and west.
We are all part of this incredible journey. Our stories are woven together. These stories make us who we are. I'm proud to be a part of this shared experience.
As the night drew to a close, Mira looked around at her family. Their faces were etched with both joy and the wisdom of years. Mira realized her true belonging wasn't found in choosing one culture over another. Instead, it was in embracing the beautiful complexity of her family's journey.
Thank you all for being here. We appreciate you sharing your stories. This is just the beginning of our journey. Together, we will keep our history alive. We'll preserve it for future generations.
With those words, Mira felt a sense of peace settle over her. She had found her place at last. It wasn't just in America or China alone. Her place was in the intertwining roots of her family tree. These roots stretched across oceans and decades. They were resilient and ever-growing. The sun rose over the foggy countryside in China. It cast a golden glow on the ancient village. This village had been there for a very long time. Mira Chen walked with her parents and Jake. They followed a narrow path. Their feet made crunching sounds on the gravel. They were getting close to the ancestral shrine.
It's strange. After all this time, it feels like coming home.
How are you feeling, Mira?
Overwhelmed, but in a good way. Like everything's finally falling into place.
Myra's hand automatically reached for the Jade Pendant. The pendant hung around her neck, its cool surface comforting. As they approached the shrine, incense filled the air.
Wo men daula, jai shi wo men jiazu de si tang. We're here. This is our family's ancestral shrine.
Lily's voice was soft. It was filled with respect and a hint of emotion. This was a feeling she rarely showed. David placed a gentle hand on his wife's shoulder.
It's been so long since we've been here together. Mira, are you ready?
I think I've been preparing for this moment my whole life, Dad.
As they entered the shrine, the air grew thick with history. Unspoken stories seemed to linger in the atmosphere. Myra's eyes traveled over the ancestral tablets. Each character was etched with care and meaning. The shrine's presence was palpable, filled with the weight of generations past.
Rang wo men kai shi ji zu yi shi ba. Let's begin the ancestral ceremony.
Lily began to light incense sticks. Her movements were graceful and practiced. She handed an incense stick to each family member. Jake also received one, accepting it with hesitant reverence.
What do I do?
Just follow my lead. We'll bow 3 times and place the incense in that holder.
As they performed the ritual, Mira felt a profound connection. A sense of unity washed over her. The jade pendant rested against her skin. It felt increasingly warm as the ritual progressed. Mira experienced a deep bond with the ceremony and its effects.
Mom, Dad, I want to thank you. I'm grateful for everything. Thank you for the sacrifices you made. I appreciate the stories you've shared with me. I also recognize the stories you couldn't tell. Your experiences, both spoken and unspoken, have shaped who I am today.
Mila, ni zhang yu ming bai la. Mira, you finally understand.
We always hoped you'd find your way back here, to understand where you came from.
Tears glistened in Lily's eyes. She reached out slowly. Her hand moved towards the jade pendant. The necklace hung around Myra's neck. Lily's fingers trembled as they neared the precious stone.
Jagi yu zui xian zai shu yu nila, ta dai biao jai wo men jia zu de li liang he shi wang. This jade pendant now belongs to you. It represents our family's strength and hope.
I'll treasure it always, Mom, and I'll make sure its story is never forgotten.
The family stood together in the quiet shrine. They were surrounded by the whispers of their ancestors. Mira felt a sense of peace she had never known before. She turned to Jake beside her. He had been watching the ceremony with quiet respect.
Thank you for being here, for being part of this.
I'm honored, Mira. Seeing you here, with your family, in your element, it's beautiful.
Mira took a deep breath. She inhaled the scent of incense and history. Mira looked at her parents, then at Jake. She turned back to the ancestral tablets. The tablets held the names of those who came before her.
I think I'm ready now. Ready to move forward, to create my own story while honoring the past.
That's all we ever wanted for you, sweetheart.
As they prepared to leave the shrine, Mira paused for one last moment. Her hand rested on the jade pendant. She closed her eyes, feeling her ancestors' presence within her. Mira smiled, seeing the future stretch out before her. It was a journey she would create for herself. This path was built on the strength of those who had come before her.
Let's go, we have a lot to look forward to.
With those words, Mira stepped out of the shrine. She entered the bright sunlight. Mira was ready to embrace whatever lay ahead. Her family stood by her side. Her heritage would forever be a part of her. The story is over. Thank you for listening. Please write a comment about the story. Tell me what you think. I will read all your comments. I'll reply to each of you personally. See you next time.